Thrilling times. Let's get some more Phillip Schofield in. Ugh. All right, welcome to The Last Rites. Please drop a subscribe if you would be so wonderfully kind. And let's have a little look at just some pictures of Castaway because I couldn't be bothered to do anything else. But did make some notes. This is episode 2 and episode 3 of Castaway. Did a little review of episode 1 if you want to go back and find that. But not a lot happened, especially in the last episode. But we'll go through this second episode here. We obviously had a lot of narcissistic type whinging and whining in the last one, but some of it was quite interesting, to be fair. So we open episode 2, and Phillip Schofield is fishing, and he's very proud of this. Like, I've got a fish. I've got a fucking fish. Reeling them in like junior members of staff. His dad's going to be very proud of him. They've taken the bait of the casting couch. Hey, fish, you want to be on camera? Can you play the skin flute, huh? But, it gets a little bit excited. It does sound like he's having a nice time. It's like, oh, my God, we've got a fish. And then he starts crying. He's crying as a fish dies on a beach. Like, I don't know, the boy's career or something. But then sort of lurches back to his camp with his fish, sort of laughing like he's some sort of celebrity Gollum, which is another interesting little scene. But then he has a little cry. His dad would be very proud of him. He made a float and he caught a fish, and he's crying. His dad is truly, it is an emotional moment. Would he be proud of you, Shag and Junior boy members of the crew? I'm not sure, but no, it is an emotional moment. That was quite, I guess, an interesting thing. He can't light a fire. He seems surprised that the fire would burn his finger. Flashback to being with the family. It was like, you would make a good fire maker, fire starter. And then he replies, twisted. Certainly are. Then he starts talking about his TV career. And I guess this is the most interesting part of this episode. So Phillip Schofield says, I've been chucked under the bus and I could drive that same bus over so many people, but I'm not that sort of person. But if I'm sat down with the camera and the lights going, who knows what I'll say? Say it. Come on. Toss the others under the old bus. I'm not sure that metaphor is entirely good, because if you're thrown under a bus, how do you then drive that same bus? You can encourage the bus to stop because you're caught up in the axles or something. Have you ever seen that? Oh, it's grim. But yeah, so what he's saying is he's got a lot of similar dirt on other TV presenters, but he's not going to say anything. But then again, he might, and that's to keep you watching to the third episode, but he doesn't. So sort of more bemoaning of his plight. Strangely, I think another presenter or two might have done the same. The difference is I'm a homosexual, so saying this is a homophobic attack more than anything else, meaning the media sort of trying to tear him down after this. It's not an unusual thing. This is him speaking in the gay world for there to be a difference in age group. If it had been with a woman, pat on the back, well done, mate. Or even when you knew that girl from when she was a kid. I don't know. Lots of I've been hurt by people in TV. This is all Schofield talking. You get to a point where you don't want to do it anymore. All of his happy memories of TV went away, and he tells this story of sort of being in awe of the BBC TV centre. Like, I'm in this magical place where Savills roam in the corridors with keys. I added that bit, but that was what's happening. But, all gets taken away is what he's saying, and he can't even think about those places without it being sort of bitter from all the betrayal, from lots of fake friends in TV. I mean, yeah, he's probably right about that. Lots of fake people in show business, right? All pretending to be your friends while it's going well. As soon as there's any issues, they'll what? Who are you? Huh? Get selective dementia, And of course, any sort of, what I do wonder, it's taken him till it's in his 60s to realise that you haven't got that many friends in life, People that have got 50, 60 friends, they're not your friends. There's only a few, right? And you do realise that. So listen, I'm glad he's realised that in his 60s. So he said, there was no toxicity in This Morning and ITV, even though those questions went to Parliament. But then he says, okay, there might be now, and he sees that there are now, but he didn't see it any of the time. I guess that's a little bit confusing, though, because I guess by sort of having an affair with a junior member of staff and letting them on camera and everything, that is kind of adding to the toxicity. I thought. He talks about loyalty when he's been so loyal and he's had none shown to him. I guess he's talking about other TV presenters that he worked with, maybe Holly, I don't know. So again, what I did was unwise, but is it enough to destroy someone? Management let him go by text. There's so much more he could say. And then he just goes on to something else, really. So he just sort of makes a chair out of sand and has a breakdown playing in the sand. It looks like quite a good sand chair, to be honest. to be fair, it was quite good. Then he thinks about climbing a mountain, but he needs food, so he needs more than one crab. He goes looking for some crabs, but he accidentally collapses a crab's house. He did apologise for smashing the back doors in on that one, though. That was something he did do. And he recites this kind of poem, or more sort of, I don't know, tale, I don't know the word. So as he's climbing the mountain, or as he gets to the top, and to sort of, I don't even know the word, but so imagine you're preparing to go to Italy and sat on a plane, and you've prepared all your guidebooks and language books and that to go to Italy, but the plane lands and the pilot says, "Welcome to Holland," and it's still lovely in Holland. I think he's saying Italy is like having a glittering career on TV, and Holland is like kissing a boy and getting fired. Enjoy your stroopwafel. A big emotional moment to the end. But yeah, that is an interesting... is it an allegory? Is it an allegory? My mind has turned to mush this Sunday. Could be an allegory. So I guess it's like making the best of what the unexpected is, right? And he mentions that toxicity tank training again. Is it his balls? I don't know. But that's it, really. Episode 2, you had those sort of big emotional moments, bit of whinging and whining. Let me go into the final episode. I mean, the final episode, he starts by taunting a crab and telling it to fuck off. I mean, he's not a junior runner on this morning. He thinks he is a big cat. I don't know whether that was true or not, but he claims he did. See some eyes and all that stuff. Gets on the emergency radio. They tell him to make his fire bigger and keep it going and have his primary cutting tool with him at all times. It was fine, though. Nothing happened. Can you imagine him having to fight off a tiger? But then he accidentally burns half his camp while he slept. So... not quite, but it's nice to have a bit of drama in the final episode, isn't it? So putting out fires is maybe a good metaphor. I guess that's a metaphor. Then the trees start making noises like the paparazzi. I don't know why I did that. It's because I watched Joker 2 yesterday, Jesus. The trees are making the sound of like a camera shutter, like... So he starts going, they're watching me. So I guess that level of paranoia probably isn't helped by that sort of stuff, right? It says the media turning sour on him goes back to a family member committing a heinous crime, and I think this is his brother, right? His brother was convicted of pretty bad stuff, I think. And the paper said he was complicit and said that this is why he was actually fired. It was about the publicity around his brother, and it just so happens that around about that time also he decided to admit the affair. We get some sad, hopeful music. Sad but hopeful music. So maybe that is quite interesting that they fired him because of his brother was convicted or sentenced like around about the same time that he was let go as well. So that he's saying it was over that and the sort of publicity that his brother was creating for him. And then he goes, yeah, there's a lot of freedom in not giving a shit, say what you want, do what you want. So he's kind of at that sort of stage now, and then he walks and swims the island. Cause he's going to miss it when he goes the next day. He does go to the crabs. I think he's starting to lose it after 9 days on the island. He does go to the crabs and apologises for eating some of them. Can you imagine Jeffrey Dahmer doing that sort of? I'm sorry, I ate your neighbours. And then he writes down all... He's secretly been writing a list of all the people that are toxic to him and put that on a fire in some sort of symbolic moment as well. Then he asks for approval. This is a weird one. He asks, I think he gets on the radio and asks for approval to shoot a scene. He needs specific approval for it. He's filming himself, right? And then we just see the fire and the beach looking out towards the sea, and then a butt-naked Phillip Schofield runs towards the water like somebody's dad has come home and caught him in bed with his son. I don't know. It's a very strange... I guess it's sort of I'm free now. Look at my arse. Look at my 62-year-old arse. No thanks, but, you know, I'm glad you had a nice time. Glad you had a nice swim, to be honest. And on the final day, he invents a coconut game, so he's playing against himself. He's, like, mentally... It's who can get the coconut closer to the tree, and mentally he's himself, and then he plays everyone else playing against him, I think. Now, I did this when I was a kid, but I was sort of, I think the American term is a latchkey kid. I was just given a door key to get home and occupy myself all through the summer holidays, you know, when I wasn't out playing football. I remember I had a game throwing pens around, I had a little scorebook. It was psychotic. I was a psychotic child, probably neglected, to be honest, but, you know, it's extra psychotic if you're in your 60s and doing that, so I don't know. But, yeah, I'm glad at least someone else does that as well, but it is a bit odd, a bit of an odd something. Then he gets the sort of crew arrive, but he has to paddle himself out, and he talks about paddling himself out of Shit Creek, so it's all very symbolic. What's next for Schofield? Nothing, he says. He's not saying he's done, just not daytime telly. And then, so it sort of ends very quickly, though. He just sort of, I guess he's taken to the hotel, like a place where he's staying, and he gets an omelette. That's what he wanted, and he sort of eats this omelette, enjoys it, and then he's suddenly back in his garden in England with his dog, playing with his dog. You thought there'd be a big reunion with the family, but it's just sort of, no, I think they just went out. They just went out and forgot that he was coming back from his island. That's it. It just ends. So what do I think about it overall? I mean, you can see it is, despite what he said, I think it is obviously an attempt to, is it all right to be on TV? I don't know. He's probably better off just setting up his own thing, isn't he, if he wants to go and do that? But it was just a very odd... I'm sure he was actually having, though, I don't think he was putting anything on for the cameras, because he was alone most of the time, and very quickly, I think, kind of having to forage for his own food and that. I think you do start to go a little bit crazy, and so when you're talking, it probably is more real than anything else, because you are kind of surviving, right? Although you could get on the radio and ask for a McDonald's at any time. Maybe not a McDonald's. Is it Madagascar? Maybe they don't have them there. I don't know. But then parts of it do think it's just sort of to state his case a lot of the time, which I guess he has a right to do, but it does come across as quite whiny and narcissistic a lot of the time. But I don't know. I had to force myself to watch the last two episodes, to be honest. It was the first one was like, okay, I'll give it a whirl. But it's, I don't think that many people have watched it overall. So, yeah, I added one view to that thing on Channel 5 catch-up. Yeah, just a sudden ending after it. And I mean, when he's eating this fish, he's kind of like, I guess he just cooked it himself, so he's eating it with his hands, but he's very Gollum-like at times. But he does complain actually about he grows a bit of facial hair for the first time in his life, and he does complain that when the press pap him, get some paparazzi pictures of him when he comes back, he goes, I'd rather that they said, dashing, rugged Schofield, is out and about, but they'll probably just say disgraced TV presenter Schofield hits new low, and he's probably right about that. I don't know if they've done that. Have they taken any pictures of that? I've absolutely no idea. But yeah, there's some, I guess that's CGI'd. I think that's towards the end when he's talking about stuff. A few tearful moments, of course. Yeah, obviously it's reality TV, so it's still going to be dramatized to some point and edited. I thought they would probably end with one of these. You had a few of these talking heads. But they didn't. So yeah, it's just the ending was very abrupt. It was very odd, actually. I thought they would make he sort of talking to camera quite a lot, but I think they just would have made a little bit more. Maybe had him back with his family after and stuff, but who knows? Very strange program that. So what do you think? Did you watch it? Do you not want to watch it? Can you not be bothered? Do you think he shouldn't ever come back on TV? Do you think he should be allowed to come back on TV? But that was quite interesting that he got fired because of what his brother did, rather than what we thought he got fired for. But maybe he would have got fired for that as well. It's sort of an unknown, isn't it? That he'd sort of lied to his management and lied to colleagues and all that. So maybe that also would have led to his sacking. There we go. That's the Phillip Schofield stuff. There might not be any more ever again. We'll see if he does anything else, and obviously we'll have a look at it and let you know. But maybe it'll be like a game show at 1 a.m. or something, or his own YouTube channel. But we'll see. I think he'll probably do something else. But it does seem that this little time on the island, he loved it. He said it's his favourite place ever, and maybe it was quite healing for him as a person. Listen, the worst of what could possibly be behind that situation, right? It's not good, but I don't think people should be, exiting life stage left for it. But maybe, I think people have come back from worse. I think people have come back, if you think really hard, people have come back from a lot worse. But he does say he'd never work with ITV, he'd never work with certain people, he'd never want to do daytime TV. So it'll be interesting to see what he does end up doing. Anyway, that is enough. I've eaten not enough food today, and yeah, as ever, just drop us a subscribe if you say word. Cheers for watching the other videos as well. It all helps. And of course, I mentally, psychically thank you all whenever you click subscribe as well. I just go, thank you. You are a number, though, unfortunately. It's like number whatever, and that is potentially degrading, but I don't mean it. I actually like you, and thank you very much for watching. So we'll see you later. There'll be... Oh, we did a live stream. The first hour was about Diddy last night, but, you know, we always go off topic with Jamie. We had a couple of beers as well. Plenty more to come. This video keeps freezing, I see, but I'm sure you can put up with it. All right, have a nice time. Go and watch Castaway, and then make a nice dinner to get over it. All right, see you later. Bye.